Okay, we're beginning. Okay, good. Shayna's beginning. I'm beginning. Hello. Beginning. Okay, if anyone can't hear me, let me know. I guess a lot of people because nobody. Folks, I'm trying to begin. Hello, everybody. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Shayna. Very good. Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Parshas Bo because it's in the past. But yet it has a very fascinating theme to it, which starts with, or for me anyway, what fascinated me was Hashem's hardening the heart of Paro. And I was wondering about that. What could that possibly really mean? What does it mean to harden the heart of someone or of him specifically? And this is from the Bilvavi. We all know I quote things from the Bilvavi, Ravi Tamar Schwartz in Yerushalayim. Anyway, he says that basically Bechira was taken. It means that Bechira was taken away from Paro. And no Bechira. What does that mean? Okay, where does Bechira come from? If we think a little more deeply, so you see Bechira Chofshit and free will. We're used to hearing about these concepts, but he likes to take us a little deeper. So where does Bechira come from? And he talks about the fact that it comes from Hashem's actual use of Bechira. What was Hashem's use of Bechira? His use of Bechira was Hashem had a choice. Seems strange to think of Hashem choosing, but that's what it says. He had a choice. Hashem could have either created this world or not created this world. And that was the choice. And there were angels on either side of that Bechira question. Some said, don't bother creating it. It's going to lead to bad things. And others said, yes, create it. Baruch Hashem, Hashem decided to create this world. And let's see. And now, what does Bechira actually mean, though? What is its root? Its root is, it means to choose between two sides, between bad and good. Now, I'll give you a simple example. Okay, a person is looking into their closet, deciding what to wear. And all the dresses are pretty modest, but you choose the gray one over the green one. Okay, that's not Bechira. What Bechira is, if you have some dress that really looks good on you, but just a tad bit modest, just a little bit, I mean, it doesn't go over the wool too much, and you make that choice between that dress or the other dress that's definitely more modest. So the real Bechira is between the good and the bad. And I'm not here to characterize people's clothing. I just figured it's a handy example. So don't worry, I'm not judging people's clothing. Okay, so now it says that Hashem created worlds and destroyed them, which is true. And so this destruction of worlds, according to the Bilvavi, is actually the root of Ra, of evil, the destructive force, as opposed to, there's only one force, there's only one Hashem, but there's a destructive aspect and there's a good aspect. There's destruction and there's chibur, connection, all right? So, and Hashem, each moment is constantly choosing between destruction and creation. He recreates the world. Let's see where I go now. Here, he recreates the world. There are 1,080 moments in each hour, and every moment he recreates the world. Okay, so and that includes us. We're part of the world. All right, now go a little deeper into free will. I may have mentioned this before, but if you've heard it, just it's okay. Rav Dessler, Zichrono Livracha, says there are 3 points in Bechira, right? There are 3 levels, let's say. There is the level above our Bechira, meaning something that we really don't have choice in. We can't do it. If someone said, give up all your money to this poor person on the street, even if you think of the halacha and decide maybe I really have to do this, which you don't, by the way, but just an example, that's not a choice that most of us could be free to make. We couldn't do it, or I shouldn't speak for anyone myself. I couldn't do it, okay? Then there's the in-between level, where, for example, the question is, you have guests in the house, actually happened, and the electricity goes off, and everyone's sitting at the table and no one can see the food, and all you have to do is flip the switch, right? It's just for some reason the switch went off, and that would be all it would take.
You're not talking about Shabbos,
I'm talking about Shabbos. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Talking about Shabbos. And at that point, you could say to yourself, well, one side might say, well, you have all these guests and there's an obligation, that's an orchim. And the other side is saying, Shabbos, 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 don't do it, don't do it. And there's no local Arab around to help you out. And I'm not talking about halacha, asking you the non-Jew to help you out. I'm just saying, okay, that is a point of bechira that you can manage. You can survive the struggle between those two sides, and hopefully the good side will succeed. So that's at the level of bechira. At what? The divine. Well, this. Okay. Well, I won't designate a soul for it. I'm not sure. The Yetzer Tov versus the Yetzer Hara. That I'll go that far. So you can manage that choice. You may, some days you may fall. Okay. Some situations you may fall, but at least you're in the struggle. Below your struggle, below that level is the level where you are going to succeed. Okay. It's not a struggle at all. So it's Shabbos and it's the lights off in one room. I'm just following through the example. The lights off in one room, and it's inconvenient, but there's no question that you're not going to turn on that light. You're just not going to turn it on. So there, the good will succeed, and you're not. And it's okay. Now, we are told not to seek out nisyono, not to seek out trials, if we are above our choice level, okay? And then most of us will ideally are advised to run away from those tests the best we can. Just don't go there. Don't put yourself in a makom that you would be tested by, where it's too difficult to choose the good. On the other hand, okay, so that's that. Now, every time, this got a little interesting for me, hopefully interesting for you. Every time a person has a bechira, every time a person has a choice, again, a choice between good and bad, not some random choice, she changes her bechira level. Every time a person sins, she needs to do tshuva from two things: the sin itself, okay, the chait itself, and she also needs to do tshuva from the level that she's dropped down to, so that she can return to her previous level. So she does tshuva from the sin, and then she does tshuva from having dropped down a level. If not, if she doesn't worry about that level, and I think we kind of know what he's talking about here. In other words, we get to a place, we've done something more than once, all right? And it sort of a little bit bothered us at first. And then next time it bothered us less. And we made an excuse for ourselves, and so on and so forth, until there was no fight at all. The fight between the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara is a real fight, and it's a real difficult challenge. And people's consciences are bothered. But unless a person is willing to deal with that struggle, then a person is going to find themselves, according to Tzfat, falling lower in level because the choice point has moved down. Okay, so now after Paro, back to Paro, after the first plague, he chose not to free the slaves, and it kept going on and on and on, and in essence, his heart was hardened. In other words, he had no choice to make. He wasn't going to make a choice. It's going to just follow what was good for him. A person, let's see. Okay, I said, all right, so.
Well, it doesn't say Paro hardened.
Hashem.
It says Hashem hardened.
Hashem hardened, I'm sorry if I gave that impression.
No, earlier on it says Hashem, the Paro hardened is hardened. Later on, Hashem hardened.
Right, thank you. Yeah, check it out. All right, anyone in doubt, check it out. Right, okay. So, okay. Okay, so I said this before, I'll repeat it, it's clearer here. Okay, so there are two parts to the conflict, the act itself, and second is to have that sense of right or wrong. Okay, now, when I was in college, okay, we were looking at a reading, Lahavdil of Joseph Campbell, the great mythologist. And what he was saying is that he held forth with the principle, follow your bliss. That follow your bliss. Find something that you love and just do it. Do what you love. And he was very popular, and that became sort of a theme song for us. At least the way I saw it. Follow your bliss. Do what's good for you. Do what makes you happy, etc., etc. So I just bring it out because it's a very tempting philosophy. It's a very interesting. It works for people.
So tempting, it really caught on.
Yes, it caught on. Thank you. Absolutely right. It caught on, and if you look at what's going on out there now, that's exactly what people are doing. They have him as his guru, as their guru, and they're following their bliss. And we as Jews stand against that, but it's not so simple. It's not. We are going through test after test after test in this area and other areas. But in this area, it's a very tough area because people might say, why are you so worried about that? What bothers you about that? Don't worry about it. I mean, that kind of a theme. Why do you need all these rules? Why do you need to do that? So what? Who cares? That's kind of the second part of this. The challenge and what likes that challenge? It's a hurrah. It's much easier to say to ourselves, well, do what's easy. Who says we have to do what's harder, etc. Now, okay.
But if you just shift it a little bit and say, fulfill your mission. If it's inside of you, you strive to fulfill the mission that you're designed to do, then I don't know if that shift changes outcome and how good it is as a Jew to do it, or only.
Can you give an example?
Okay. I always wanted to be a doctor. I'm gonna go to medical school.
All right.
That's my bliss, is to become a doctor. It's not, but that's an example.
Understood.
But that's not against what?
No.
Like if all the classes are on Shabbos, then what do you do?
Then you got a problem. Right. Okay, okay, so I think I get what you're saying. You're saying as a person can reason to themselves that doing what they want to do, they're actually fulfilling their mission. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes.
Sure. That's a good example of an argument of the Yetzer Hara. So the Yetzer Hara could find many really good rationales for any kind of conduct. And the Yetzer Tov is trying very hard to remind that person, but that's not what Hashem wants. That's not what works. Don't do that. And that's the struggle. And the struggle, and in other words, okay. So world clock is telling me it's 9:46. I've got to stop. Okay. So hold on. I had this lovely thought here. Let me just read this. It shouldn't take more than 2 minutes. Okay, problem. Okay. So here we're back to Paro and to ourselves. Hashem not only wants us to tell over the story of what he did to Paro, but to tell over the attitude of Paro, which led to his downfall, and how we need to live our lives very differently than he did. The more a person perseveres in this path and is willing to go through the pain of listening to his inner voice, it is a pain of good, which keeps telling him not to sin and to feel remorse over sin, which doesn't stop harassing him. That voice doesn't stop harassing him, even over his deeply rooted negative patterns that are very hard for him to overcome. The more he continues to listen to his inner voice and doesn't ignore it, he is closer to becoming one who comes to be purified as assisted. This is the root of redemption from Egypt. That's it.
That was it?
That was it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Very well.
Okay. Sit down. That's it. That's all it is. Okay, so Okay, so we're starting a whole new area of halacha. We're starting this week with the laws of the laws of interpersonal relationships. And the thing is that I think most of us, or many of us, grew up thinking, or not really being aware of the fact that we're doing mitzvahs when we're doing kindnesses. You know, it's like your mother said, be nice. It's on the be nice level. Like, we're going to be nice, you know, like, oh, here, go help that person over there. Be nice. But actually, it's as much a mitzvah. And there are many halachos associated with every aspect, just like any of the other mitzvahs. The thing that's a little different about this whole area of mitzvot, you know, I would say, no, I shouldn't say, there are many cases where we say a bracha while we're doing a mitzvah, right? And we don't for mitzvos bein adam lachavero. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech asher kedushanu b'mitzvos v'tzivanu al tzedakah, al chesed, al this, al that, right? We don't say a bracha all over, even though they are mitzvot, right? Mitzvos, and even though that Hashem wants us to do those things, but why do you think we don't have to say it? Why we don't say a bracha for those things?
That's what we're saying all day.
Let's just clarify that, Marion. You would be saying it all day.
I want to be saying
Oh, I see.
That was in our. Oh.
So that's very good. Okay, Shayna just said it's not in our control. What happens if you okay, there's this nice ripe honey, he's over there, and you're about to pull out your whatever change you have in your pocket, and you've got 40 agarot, and you and you give it to him, and he says, 40 agarot, I don't want your money. What? But I just made a bracha. No, sorry. No, I'm sorry, I don't want to. Or you're all determined to go, to the hospital, and you're saying your bracha, and then the person's not there. In other words, any mitzvah which we don't really have any control over, you can't say a bracha over that. Okay, so I had but still, you sort of want to put it in this frame of this God awareness. What? You say an after bracha. Yeah. In Birkos and Mitzvah, you say the bracha before the act. Okay.
So we don't really want to do it.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Stand there. Wait, before you come in, let me just say a bracha. I actually had a teacher, my teacher, Rabbi Saul Berman, certain college, he used to say that, don't you sort of know when you're doing, isn't there a certain godly sense? I mean, nobody loves going to a funeral, but you know that you're doing chesed shel emes, you know that you're doing something that's godly when you do these kinds of things. Or you give tzedakah, you're and you think about how to give it in a way that you're being as kind as possible, and you sort of know that there's some there's something to it. The Alter of Slobodka had a different understanding of it, and basically what he said was that that Hashem actually wants us to do things, kindnesses to other Jews and to other peoples, not because he commanded us, not because he said, hey, you have to give tzedakah. It's supposed to come someplace from within you. It's supposed to be some kind of, and you look at the guy, he's like this person, he's as chashuv to me as my lulav, and he's as chashuv to me as my Hanukkah candle. No, he's not that. He's not an object. He's not your way of earning mitzvah points. He's a human being, and hopefully your heart will go out to him, and your sense of responsibility for another Jew will go out to him, and you'll be and you'll do whatever you can for that person willingly and eagerly.
That's not the bottom line reason why we do it. It's still the bottom line reason.
Yeah, and I think that's
line.
Okay, and I think that's why it's part of our culture to do those things, right? I mean, you can imagine. I always wondered about this. In Sodom, right? It was a mitzvah to not do hachnasas orchim, and if you did it, the base din went after you and they like tried to kill you because you did this terrible thing. Like, what do you care? If I want to be nice to someone, what's it to you? No, it was like so much a part of their country. What?
It sets a bad example.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So the fact that we have all of these mitzvahs, and they're not so easy to learn because they're not all put together. One second, they're not all put together in like hilchos bein adam lechavero. They're like it's not here's kashrus all in one book, and here's Shabbos all in one book, and here's Yantif, but it's not up until the time of the Chafetz Chaim, which was not so long ago. There was no really organized system of the laws of lashon hara, and he created that. Well, so the person who wrote this book, his name is this book is called the Code of Jewish Conduct. His name is Rabbi Yitzchak Silver. He actually wrote. This is like the English, not minimized, but the smaller version of the book that he wrote in Hebrew, which is a multi-volume book on all the laws throughout all of Tanakh, all of Gemara, all of Halacha, he brought it all together in one, and it's a modern thing, and it's which I think leads us to some awareness. Did you?
I mean, I remember hearing this such a story about like someone like somebody was like starving whatever, and so the Rebbe like went and he like gave him some money for food, and then he like went back again and gave him some more. So like what? I said, well, the first time I gave him, I was feeling so bad, and I was feeling so sorry and everything. I gave him to make me feel better, so I didn't feel that was really your tzedakah. So I went and gave it again. So I don't know, maybe it's a different. I guess we should be doing it because we have this inner feeling of right and wrong, but I don't think we're supposed to be doing it like just because we're suffering medically and make us feel better.
It's
My staff was up. It doesn't matter how you feel and what you feel.
That's true. That's true.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do it. You don't want to do something to build up your name. Oh, she always gives tzedakah. She's such a tzadekis. That's what you don't want to do. I would say that would be a negative thing more than
it's two different things. One is the tzedakah, which is fine, and the other is the gaiva, which is an issue that it's to work on.
Right.
But it doesn't detract from the tzedakah.
Right.
Yeah, you should never not give tzedakah because you're afraid it might.
Maybe
But I thought what you.
Wait, you're next. You're
Okay,
next.
no problem. Okay, but
Sorry.
sounds like because a person is a person in our lulav, the person has to feel that you have some feeling for that person. Just like when you go to a doctor, you want to feel the doctor's doing what you do and whatever and give you a prescription. But at some level, you need to feel there's some kind of chibur that the doctor has some level of caring to you, even though he has the Hippocratic oath or whatever it is. He's doing what he's supposed to do, but there's that level of communicating to the next person that you're helping, that sense that I care about you. That's
Okay.
what it sounds.
Okay. Very good.
I was going to say that maybe the reason that this is a new book, new collection, is because it wasn't needed before, because people had it within them and a kind of like part of their lives. And now people are so connected to each other with all the modern technology and everything else.
Could be. I mean, this book is actually about 20 years. It's not so new.
I mean,
15 years old. But I think you're right.
Just did it. It was part of their breathing.
Right.
And maybe now it's not.
Right. Listen, there are different things that are prominent in different generations. You go to some neighborhoods and everybody's walking down the street, good Shabbos, hi, good Shabbos, good Shabbos. You go someplace else and it's like, if you say good Shabbos, it's like,
Do I know you?
Right.
get out of my space. I'm in your space, boo. I'm in your space. I'm like part of you. But so there certainly are different needs and different awarenesses, and certain things were passed on, like Torah Simecha, your mother taught you. Be nice. Be nice.
Well, people who don't know Torah, if you ask them what is a mitzvah, they say a good deed.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. So yes.
It does say
things already that there are certain inherent characteristics that dictate to fit.
Right.
And one of them is peasants. It's like an inherent trait. And we have to figure it out, but that's part of our DNA makeup.
Because I'll tell you this, it's not somebody who's here. It's happened a number of years ago, but there was someone who was in the process of going through Gior, and she was so kind. Like she just kept doing nice thing after nice thing after nice thing. And I said, "There's got to be some Jew in there. There's got to be, and her father's Jewish, so there is something that's built into Jews. It's transmitted into Jews. I mean, the whole, you see all these Jews involved in these progressive Jews involved in all these movements. It's not just save the whales, but there's a high level of compassion for other people that and it gets distorted, and it has gotten distorted, but still at the same time, there's a tremendous level of people caring for other people. So. Anyways, I didn't get to this book, so much for the introduction. You got time. You got time. Okay, so just a few announcements. So okay, so first of all, the Lama's continuing with. Thank you very much, Ilana. She's continuing teaching Tefillah this week, speaking about Shmona Esrei. No, it's because you're.
You're doing a mitzvah.
You're doing the mitzvah. Okay. Also, we're beginning a new series with Yedida Cohen, which is really very nice, and it's a 6-week series. I wish I could read this. It's called Steps to Redemption. Okay, so the first 3 shiurim, she's going to teach concepts of exile and redemption, their process, according to Rav Beshalach, of course. And then afterwards, so she's got 3 weeks on Purim. So, hello, Rivka, welcome. Okay. Okay. Also, just want to mention that the breakfast is sponsored by Chaya Yawitz, whose her father's yahrzeit is this week. Avraham Ben Yaakov. You want to say anything?
My dad had off the wall sense of humor. He had to like 20 years ago. So we used to go on holiday every year, driving down to the coast, 10-hour drive. And my brother and I were siblings. My dad would tell us stories. My brother had a habit to make us little boys at his boat. My dad made up a story about an elephant who made this terrible noise. His teacher was trying to get him out of it. So he was sitting in the class to his teacher on his table. The elephant made this noise. The teacher said, turn into on his table. Low me down. Made the noise and the table. He went up to loggerheads.
Right.
I remember one story. We were going down to Cape Town. My dad had a sailor with a flaming red beard. And